Hey, I was just looking at Infosys's financial results, and he's like a whole different world of numbers. It's kind of overwhelming, actually.
Right. Well, it's a lot to take in, but let's break it down. I mean, basically, we're looking at their performance for the quarter and 9 months that ended in December of 2024.
Okay, so they've got this integrated filing. What exactly is that all about?
Well, it's a way of presenting all the financial information in one place, kind of like a one stop shop for investors. It includes the consolidated financials, which gives the big picture of the company and its subsidiaries.
Ah, okay. So it's not just about Infosys itself, but also all those other companies they own, right? That's pretty important.
Exactly. It paints a more complete picture. And Deloitte, the big accounting firm, they've audited all these numbers. So we know there is some accuracy to them.
Okay, that's reassuring, I guess. So, what are some of the big takeaways from these numbers, like revenue and profit?
Well, their revenue from operations was about 41,764 crore rupees for the quarter, which is a pretty big jump from last year's 38,821 crore rupees. And their total income also increased, to 42,623 crore rupees.
So things are looking up. But I mean, what about profits? That's what everyone really cares about.
The profit for the period was around 6,822 crore rupees for the quarter, which is also an increase compared to last year's 6,113 crore rupees. So yes, profits are definitely up too.
That's good, really good, actually. It seems they're making more money, but what about their expenses? Are they ballooning up?
Actually, their total expenses were about 32,953 crore rupees, which is also higher than last year. But the profits increased at a faster rate. Employee benefits are a huge chunk of that at 21,436 crore rupees this quarter.
Okay, that makes sense since they're such a big company. So, it's like costs are going up, but revenue and profits are going up even more. That's a good sign.
Right. And they've broken it down into segments like financial services, retail, communication, and so on. It helps to see where their main income is coming from.
Oh, interesting. So which segment is the biggest breadwinner for them?
Well, financial services continues to be their largest segment. It generated a revenue of 11,589 crore rupees this quarter, followed by manufacturing at 6,479 crore rupees.
Wow, financial services clearly keeps them afloat. I mean, what about the other segments? Are they showing growth too?
Yes, most of their segments are showing growth compared to last year. Energy, utilities, resources, and services, for example, generated 5,635 crore rupees, which is also up.
That's great. So, is there anything else that's kind of interesting about these results?
Well, they've also mentioned stock grants for their CEO, Salil Parekh. He's getting stock units valued at 3 crore rupees, which will vest over time based on his employment agreement.
Oh, interesting. So, kind of like an incentive to keep him performing well, right?
Exactly. It's pretty common for CEOs of big companies. It aligns his incentives with the company's success.
So, besides all the financial stuff, they also discuss their dividends, right? I think I saw something about that.
Yes, they declared an interim dividend of 21 rupees per share back in October, and the interim dividend last year was just 18 rupees per share. So that's a nice increase.
That's good for the shareholders. So it's like they're making more money and they're also sharing more with the people who own the company.
Exactly. And in terms of share value, their basic earnings per share is around 16.43 rupees, which is up from 14.76 rupees last year.
That sounds really positive, actually. So overall, it seems like they had a pretty good quarter, right?
Yes, they're showing growth in most of their segments and their profits are increasing. So all those are good indicators. I mean,
So this whole report is not just in rupees. Is there like a different currency version too?
oh yeah, they've also got a summary in US dollars. Their revenue in US dollars is at $4.939 billion and their net profit is $806 million for the quarter.
Okay, that's helpful. I mean, for international investors and all. So it's like they're covering all the bases there.
Exactly. They want to make sure everyone can understand their financial health, no matter where they are.
So they have a lot of information here. Is there like anything else we should be looking at, or is that all the major points?
But they also mentioned their standalone results, which only include Infosys itself and not the subsidiaries. Their revenue for the quarter was about 34,915 crore rupees, and their profit was about 6,358 crore rupees.
So the consolidated numbers include the subsidiaries, and the standalone results give a picture of just the parent company's performance, right?
Precisely. It's like looking at the tree versus the whole forest, if you think of it that way.
Right. That makes sense. So the whole ecosystem, all these other companies they own, makes a bigger profit than just the Infosys company itself.
And their standalone results also show an increase in revenue and profits year on year.
Okay, that's interesting too. It seems like the subsidiaries are doing really well too and contribute significantly to the consolidated profits.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are the key points. They also include some notes about the numbers in stock options and dividends.
Got it. It's like a lot of information to process. But thanks for, breaking it down. I think I get the general idea now.
No problem. It can seem like a lot at first, but it's important to keep track of these things when you're following a company.
Yeah, definitely. And like they also mentioned some forward-looking statements, right? Like what they expect in the future.
Yes, they did, but they also included a disclaimer about those. They cautioned that those statements involve risks and uncertainties, and their actual results could be different due to many factors, like market conditions.
Okay. So like they're putting it out there, but also saying, hey, this is not set in stone. Things could change. That's kind of a smart thing to do, right?
Well, it's a standard practice, especially for publicly traded companies. They need to be transparent about the possible risks.
I get it. It's like they have to cover themselves from all angles. So, with all of this information, what do you think the overall message is?
I'd say the overall message is that Infosys is performing well, their revenue and profits are up, and most of their segments are growing. They're also rewarding their shareholders with increased dividends.
It's a positive trend overall, like a well oiled machine making money and growing. That's good to know.
Yeah, but it's worth remembering that, the world of business is always in flux. So it's important to keep monitoring. And hey, if you're finding this breakdown helpful, feel free to like, share, and subscribe to the channel.
Absolutely. Good point. I mean, there are definitely a lot of moving parts to keep track of. So, we'll keep an eye on it for sure.
For sure. And it's also interesting to see that despite the global uncertainties, Infosys is still showing some positive performance. It highlights their adaptability and resilience in the tech space.
It's like they've been in the game for a while, so they know how to roll with the punches. It will be interesting to see what their next report looks like.
Absolutely. Now, what other financial news are we looking at today?